Goodness gracious! Well, well, well. I am here, and so are you. Welcome to the ultimate beginner guide to runes. Runes are probably the most important part of this game. So let's dive into it, shall we? And take a look at this. Whoa! Check it out from the shop. Have you looked through the shop to see what runes you can find? I recommend it. Let's go ahead and purchase that. Ooh, that was a chunk out of the old wallet, wasn't it? All right. So before we dive into runes, I want to make you aware of a couple things. Obviously, right off the bat, you know about blue runes, right? They always have 2 stats on them. 2 stats. Purple runes always have 3 stats on them, right? And then legendary has 4 stats on it. Take a look at this rune. You see the attack plus 15 and the speed plus 4 right underneath it, right? That speed plus 4 is called the innate stat. It comes with the rune. It cannot be powered up. That will stay plus 4 forever. It's just the innate stat of the rune. All right. So let's go ahead and get into some basics here. You have slot 1, slot 2, slot 3, slot 4, slot 5, and slot 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, slot 1 will always be flat attack. It cannot be anything else than flat attack. All right. Slot 3, coming down here, we did 1, doing 3, can always be flat defense. Can be nothing else but flat defense. Okay. That's it. That's all it can be. 5. So we did 1, flat attack, 3, flat defense. Slot 5 is always flat HP. That's it. Flat attack, flat defense, flat HP. That there can be nothing else in these runes, okay? So, a general rule of thumb. This is the rune manage button, right? If you look down here where I'm clicking, the rune manage button, this is going to be your best friend when it comes to runes, okay? So if we look here, look up here where I'm clicking at this main property, the main property, you will see that there is quite a lot of them, right? Now over here, flat HP runes, right? Those are always going to be slot 5. Uh-oh, here's one for slot 6. No. You do not want to keep flat HP runes, okay? Other than slot 5, because they are for slot 5 only. If you have any other flat HP runes anywhere else, sell it. You do not want flat stats, right? You want percentage stats, all right? Same goes for flat attack. It's always going to be slot 1. Slot 1 is flat attack. If we have flat attack anywhere else, like this, flat attack for slot 2. No. We do not want flat attack anywhere else but slot 1, right? Okay, same goes for defense. If you have flat defense anywhere other than slot 3, then sell it, okay? Let's go for... All right, so those are the flat ones. If you need to, go back and look at the start of this video. Slot 1, flat attack. Slot 3, flat defense. Slot 5 is flat HP. Those are the only flat stats that you want. Now, The only flat stat that we like here on Summoner's War is speed. The main property of speed will always be in slot 2. It will be nowhere else as the main property than slot 2. Oh, let's go here. See? These are what did I do? Speed. Yes, here, look. Main property, slot 2, speed. That is the only flat power-up, flat property, flat stat that we like, is flat speed. There is no percentage speed. I wish there was. Right? But it's only flat speed in slot 2. Okay? So we've got that done. We went over the slot 1, slot 3, slot 5. So now, let's talk about slot 2, 4, and 6. Right? The main properties, the main rune slots that most people focus on. Okay? This is where we go into percentages. We love percentages. All right? All right. So crit rate can only be slot 4. It can only be slot 4. Same for crit damage. Crit rate, crit damage can only be in slot 4. A lot of your monsters are going to take crit damage and crit rate runes. All right, so they can only be in slot 4. Accuracy can only be in slot 6. All right, if you want to write this stuff down, feel free, take notes, go back, rewatch this video, take notes. Accuracy can only be in slot 6. Now, let's talk about resistance. Resistance can also only be in slot 6. Accuracy and resistance are only percentages in slot 6. All right? Speed, as you remember, is flat, can only be in slot 2. Let's just recap that. Flat speed is the only flat stat that you like, and it can only be in slot 2 as the big main property of the rune. All right? HP can be in 2, 4, and 6. Slot 2, slot 4, slot 6. Remember, in slot 2, 4, and 6, you do not want flat HP, right? You do not want flat HP. You want percentage in slot 2, 4, and 6. A lot of units are going to take HP percent in 2, 4, and 6, all 3, right? So if you get a percentage HP percent rune, hold on to it. It's a good idea to hold on to it, right? Because you're going to need a lot of those. Defense, again, 2, 4, and 6. If you get if you get a percentage defense rune, hold on to it. You never know when you're going to need it, right? Percentage runes are good. And attack, 2, 4, and 6. HP percent, defense percent, attack percent, 2, 4, and 6. Right? Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Let me ask a question. Crit rate, crit damage. What slot do those go in? Do you remember? Crit rate, crit damage. What slot do those go in? Slot 4. Crit rate, crit damage go in slot 4. What about resistance and accuracy? What slot do those runes go in? Resistance and accuracy. Do you remember? Slot 6. Yes, slot 6. Okay. Speed. The main property of speed. What rune slot does that go in? Slot 2. Yes. All right, so that's just the basics, the basic rune start right there, right? If you know this stuff, all right, that's the foundation. Always remember, flat attack, slot 1. Flat defense, slot 3. Flat HP, slot 5. Those are the only flat main properties that you want, other than speed, slot 2. Okay? Pretty easy to remember that. It's the same for every unit, right? Okay. Now, I'm going to pull up a chart on the screen, and I want you to, we're going to study this for a bit, all right? This will be really helpful for you to learn this stuff. It can seem a little overwhelming at first, but you can find this chart on Google, right? So you can look at it on your own, download it, save it as a picture so you can look at it. All right, let's go ahead and pull it up. All right, so as we see here, there's a lot of numbers, there's a lot of colors, a lot of individual charts looking things. So, all right, let's just take it slow. You know that the runes are gray, green, blue, purple, and legendary, the orange. Gray is obviously the worst, and then it goes up from there. Gray, green, blue, purple, legendary. All right. So I received a question. Are legendary runes the only runes worth keeping? Not at all. Not even close. No. Probably the majority of your runes will end up being purple. They drop more often, and you can get some really good stats off of purple runes. Okay, now we have to talk about the minimum and maximum stats that a rune can have. The minimum and maximum stats that a rune can have. There is a saying on Summoner's War that speed is king. The faster your units are, the more turns they get, and the less turns that the enemy will get, right? Speed is king. While speed is very important, it's not the main thing you need to focus on. I'll talk more about that in a bit, right? All right. So if we look here on this chart, if you have speed on a substat of a rune, if you have speed, the minimum it can be for a 5-star rune is 3. So let me go ahead and I'm going to put this chart a little bit. I'm going to make it a little smaller so we can still look at runes while the chart is up. Okay, so if I go here, let me find a 5-star rune. Here, perfect. This one right here. It's a 5-star rune with the minimum roll of speed. The maximum roll, if you look at the chart, can be 5. So do I have a 5-star? There we go. Here's a 5-star rune with the speed of 5, because that's the maximum a 5-star rune can start with when it comes to speed, right? This one was +3. That's the minimum. This one was +5. That's the maximum. And this one's +4 speed, which is obviously right in the middle. All right. So you need to know this chart. You need to know the minimum and maximum stats a rune can have. That's going to be very important. All right. So now that you know that, minimum is 3, maximum is 5, and then 4 obviously is right there in the middle. Now we need to talk about when you power up the rune, what is the minimum and maximum roll that the rune can have. So when you go to power up a rune, you will see that every 3, 6, 9, 12, a stat will get powered up, right? A stat will get powered up. So if we go to this 3 speed rune over here, the minimum that it can have, and we hit power up, the minimum roll, if it rolls speed, is 3. Again, this is all for 5-star runes. The minimum roll it can have is 3. So if I power this up to +3, it rolls speed. At minimum, it will have +6. Right? 3 plus 3 is 6. The maximum roll that it can have is 5. So if I power it up to +3 and it rolls +5 speed, we'll have +8. That's the maximum that it can have. All right, does that make sense to you? Once you understand that, this chart becomes a lot easier to read, right? It becomes a lot easier to understand. So that's 5-star runes. We're just looking at speed because if you understand how to read the speed, then you'll understand how to read all the other stats on this chart as well. We're not going to go through all of these stats. We're just going to make sure you understand how to interpret the chart, and then you can look up stuff on your own rather than this being a 3-hour long video. Okay, so that's a 5-star rune. Minimum 3, maximum 5. So let's take this rune for example. If I power this rune up to +3 and it rolls speed, what is the minimum speed that we will have? If I power this rune up and it rolls into speed as a 5-star rune, what is the minimum roll that we can have? Well, the minimum roll that we can have is +3, which means we'll have +8, right? If it rolls maximum, which is 5, if it rolls a maximum, then we can have +10, right? So to put this into practice, let's power this up to +6. There's 1, 2. It's going to roll flat HP, isn't it? Yep, flat HP. Okay, so yeah, that's basically what's going to happen your entire Summoner's War gameplay. So it went from 5 to 8. It went from 5 to 8. So what kind of roll did we get? A minimum roll. Remember, because it rolled a 3. If it would have rolled a 5, we would have +10. That's the maximum roll that you can have. If it would have rolled 4 in the middle, I would have obviously liked that better than 3. But, we would have had +9. So that was a minimum speed roll for a 5-star rune. Now, I should mention, blue runes, you can power them up, like we just did, to +6 for these two stats. Up to +6, it will either roll in speed or this HP. If we roll it up to +9, it will gain a whole new substat, a whole new property on the rune. So here's +8. And then acquired bonus property, +9. Okay. HP percent. That's really good, actually. That's really good. I will absolutely take that. I'm okay with that. Nice. So that's how it works. And if we power this up to +12, it will also gain an entirely different property. But blue runes, so this rune, I can roll this to +6 and it will only power up speed or resistance. Does that make sense? It's got 2 stats. If I do +6, it'll roll these 2 properties twice. Does that make sense? All right. Now, let's move on to 6-star. We talked about 5-star speed, minimum 3, maximum 5. 6-star rune is just one more up than that. Here we go. This is a 6-star rune that has speed on it, right? 6-star rune that has speed. The minimum for 6-star is 4. The maximum for a 6-star is 6. That's pretty easy. It correlates with the star of the rune. A 5-star rune, the maximum speed you can have is 5. 6-star rune, the maximum speed you can have is 6. So recap, 5-star rune, 3 to 5 speed. 6-star rune, 4 to 6 speed, right? So here is a minimum speed. And here is a maximum speed, right? So we have 4 speed minimum, 6 speed maximum. And that correlates with the rolls as well. If this rolls a minimum speed roll, 4 to 6, 4 being the minimum, we will have +8 speed, right? So let's go ahead and just power this up to +6 and see what we get. So it's starting at +4, right? It's starting at +4. Okay, let's go ahead and stop. So it went from 4 to 10. What does that mean? 4 to 10. That means that was a maximum speed roll because it rolled +6 on a 6-star rune. Now, if this rolls maximum again, we will have a +16 speed rune. If it rolls minimum, we will have a +4, +14 speed rune. All right, let's see what it does. All right, so we're at +4 right now. Okay, so that rolled +5, which is right in the middle of 4 and 6. So it wasn't minimum, it wasn't maximum, it was +5 right there. That's actually a nice rune. That's a nice rune. It rolled double into speed, which is what it, as a blue rune, it can only roll double. It rolled a maximum of 6, and then it rolled a middle of 5. So this rune went from being a +4 speed rune to a +15. That's not bad. That's not bad at all, right? That's actually really, really cool. So blue runes you can roll you can get a double roll in a stat. Purple runes, you can get a triple roll in a stat if you get lucky enough. And for legendary orange runes, you can get a quad, a 4 roll in any one of these stats. That's if you're really lucky. That's what you really want, right? That's what you really, really want. You can have a double roll, a triple roll, and a quad roll into a stat. That doesn't always happen, but it feels really, really good when it does, right? All right, so is that making more sense to you? Does that help you kind of decipher this chart, right? So let's take a look at this chart. Let's look at speed, because that's what we're going over. If you learn how to read the speed, you'll learn how to read everything else. All right, so we start off a 5-star rune with a minimum of 3 speed, right? You see that, the top left? 5-star rune, minimum of 3 speed. If we get a double roll as a blue rune, if we get a double roll, we will have a minimum of +9, right? Look over on the blue. Look over on the blue. 5-star rune, if it rolls double roll, we will have a minimum of +9, right? That you understand? If we have a 5-speed rune and it rolls double, we can have a maximum of +15. 5, 10, 15. And then you can have any mix in numbers in between there. If it, rolls minimum and then rolls maximum. If it rolls 2 4s, you can have different numbers. That's the minimum and the maximum. That is very, very, very important in determining what runes to keep, what runes do I throw away. Knowing the minimum and maximum stats that a rune can have will help you make that decision. All right? So let's talk about speed. If a rune doesn't have speed on it, is it worth keeping? What do you say? If a rune does not have speed on it, is it still worth keeping? Well, that absolutely depends on what the other stats are, right? So let's take a look here. Let's play a game. Let's play a game. Keep or sell. All right, I'm gonna take the chart away. Let's play a game. Keep or sell. So we're gonna go over here to the craft building. I'm going to craft some swift runes. All right, and we'll see. Don't show this. All right, we'll see if we keep or sell. Slot 4 crit damage rune. That is a 6-star rune. So is that a maximum or minimum roll into speed right there? Is that minimum or maximum? Maximum. Yes, because it's +6 on a 6-star rune. I am 100% going to keep this because this is I can potentially roll 3 times into speed. So if this rolls 3 times into speed, that'll turn into +12. That'll turn into +18. And then potentially it could turn into +24, right? If I roll 3 maximum rolls into speed. It probably won't do that, but if we get a double roll into speed, this is still a very good rune for my stage of the game. So yes, we're going to keep that one. All right, what do we got? Okay, this is a 5-star rune. It's got crit damage and attack. Both good stats. Both good stats. So let's take a look at the chart. We find where it says crit damage. Let's look at crit damage. So this is a 5-star rune. And we see that that is the maximum crit damage that it can have. That's a 5 crit damage maximum roll. What about attack? Well, for a 5-star rune, the minimum attack it can have is 4. The maximum attack it can have is 7. So this is kind of towards the low end on attack, right? That could say 5% crit damage, 7% attack. Plus this being a 5-star rune, is this keep or sell? Depends on what stage you are at in the game. The time will come where 5-star runes are not really your friend, right? You just have to determine if you're there yet. If you're farming Giants B11, floor 11, you're going to keep less and less of 5-star runes because the requirements for keeping a 5-star rune are much, much higher, right? So at my stage of the game, no, I am not going to keep that rune. Let's do another one. Resistance. Okay, resistance can only be on slot 6, right? Like we talked about. It's got an accuracy innate stat. It's got flat HP and a minimum roll into crit damage. Keep or sell? I am going to sell this rune because it's not anything good. Flat HP and a minimum roll of crit damage. I can't really do anything with that. All right. Yep. We're going to craft. Let's keep playing. Okay. Here we go. We have a slot 5 flat HP rune with HP and accuracy. Let's look at our chart. This has HP and accuracy on it. All right. So if we look, this is a 6-star rune. Let's look at HP, right? It's right underneath speed. 6-star rune. We see that the maximum, I'm looking on the gray, the top left gray side of this. HP, 6-star rune. The maximum amount of HP we can have is 8. Hey, that's great. We got a maximum HP roll. That's awesome. It's also got accuracy. So if we look at accuracy for a 6-star rune, we see that the minimum it could have is 4. And the maximum it could have is 6. So this accuracy is in the middle of minimum and maximum, right? Because it's a +6. It could have been +4, or it could have been +8. So keep or sell? Keep or sell? For me, I'm going to absolutely keep this rune. It does not have speed on it. It does not have speed on it, right? But if we get a triple roll into HP, we are looking at a plus 24% HP stat. That is a really tanky rune. It does not have speed, but this could turn into a very tanky rune, or it could roll and have some nice accuracy along with it. A rune does not have to have speed on it for you to keep it. If this becomes a really tanky swift rune, I'm sure I can find a unit to put that on. Or if it rolls really high into accuracy, I can absolutely use that as well. All right. Let's do another one. Swift rune. Let's go craft. All right. This is an interesting one. Keep or sell. Keep or sell. So we see flat attack slot 1 with an innate speed of 4. Crit damage plus 5, crit rate plus 3, HP 275. Keep or sell. Let's talk about it. So if we look at our chart, we go to crit damage. For a 5-star rune, the maximum crit damage we could have is plus 5. So we got a maximum crit damage roll. We got a minimum crit rate roll because that's a plus 3. I will power up this rune in hopes that we triple roll into crit damage. Because if we get a triple roll into crit damage, which 3 times, right, since it's a purple rune, we are looking at a potentially plus 20% crit damage. That would be absolutely fantastic. If it rolls triple maximum into crit damage, potentially we're looking at plus 20% crit damage. So that's, yeah, I'm gonna keep that rune, see how it powers up, and if it goes all into flat HP, then I'll probably sell it, right? Let's do another one. Here we have, this is an interesting one. Here we have a 6-star slot 6 HP percent rune with resistance and flat HP. Keep or sell. If you pulled this rune, would you keep it or sell it? Again, that depends on what stage of the game you're at. You know, are you at a point where you're getting regular 6-star runes? Or do you mostly have 5-star runes, right? Just kind of see what stage of the game that you're at. Resistance and flat HP, those are pretty sucky stats, right? Those are pretty sucky stats. I wish they were, you know, speed and defense percentage or accuracy and in speed, anything but resistance and flat HP. But it is a 6-star HP percentage rune. So at my stage of the game, I will keep this begrudgingly only because it is a slot 6 HP percentage rune. And I'm sure I can find a monster to just slap this rune on to power up their HP, right? This is not going to be a rune for my main Giants team. This is not going to be a rune for my TOA team. But I could slap this on a unit and maybe use them for guild battles or guild siege or something, right? If this was a 5-star HP rune, I would absolutely sell it. Okay. What slot rune is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6. What slot rune is this? Slot 4. Right. It is a slot 4 flat HP rune. No. The only flat HP runes that we want is slot 5. All right. This is another slot 4 rune. It's defense percentage with crit rate and resistance. Keep or sell? Yeah, I will sell. If that was a 6-star defense rune with crit rate on it, I might have kept it. But since it's a 5-star, I'm trying to move away from 5-star runes, so we'll move on from that. Okay. Keeper Cell, 5-star attack accuracy, blue rune, which means we might get a double roll. So if we look at our chart, 5-star rune for accuracy, we could have had a maximum accuracy of 7. We got +6. We could have had a minimum accuracy of +3. So we almost got a maximum accuracy roll right there. So if I keep this rune and I get a double maximum roll into accuracy, then we are looking at, because it can roll 7, right? It can roll 7. That would be a really good rune. Let's see if it does. We're going to do +6. Ding. All right, it rolled into attack. Okay, so here we go. It rolled into 10% attack, 12% accuracy. Keeper Cell. At my stage of the game, I will keep this rune because a lot of units need accuracy. A lot of units need high accuracy. That's +12. That's not bad. We don't know what the other, substats that this rune will have. If we power it up to +9 or +12, it might roll into speed, right? Roll into flat HP. We just don't know. But at my stage of the game, only because it has +12% accuracy, I will keep it, right? I would have liked a double roll into accuracy, but beggars can't be choosers. Okay. Flat speed. That's the only flat stat that we like. Slot 2, flat speed rune, right? With HP and accuracy. Those are good stats. Those are not the highest rolls they could have been. I wish that accuracy would have been 7, right? But it's 4. Keeper Cell. Well, for me, I am looking for 6-star speed runes. I'm at the point of the game where I'm farming Giants 11. I'm looking for 6-star speed rune. But hey, if you're more of a beginner, if you're, more lower level, this might be a really good rune for you. HP and accuracy. Those are great stats. But I am looking for 6-star runes. You just have to look at it, evaluate it for your stage of the game, figure out where you are, right? Figure out where you are. I wish that would have been a 6-star. Okay, crit rate, crit damage can only be in slot 4. That's a slot 4 rune. It's got accuracy and flat defense on it. For me, this is an easy sell because it's a 5-star crit rate rune. I would like 6-star crit rate runes. Plus, it doesn't have any crit damage on it. It doesn't have any attack on it. It does have accuracy, but no, for me, that's a pretty easy sell. All right, how many runes can we craft? We can craft 4 runes, so let's just go ahead and do that. So, all right, we got 2 purples. That's a pretty easy sell. We got flat HP, flat attack. That's a pretty easy sell. All right, slot 1, flat attack. We got a minimum in accuracy and almost a minimum in crit rate. If that would have been a 3 crit rate, that would have been the minimum. To me, that's a pretty easy sell. Those are, if that is maybe +7, a maximum roll into accuracy, then maybe. But that's a minimum roll. I'm not going to keep that. Now, let's look into these purple ones. We got 2 6-star purple runes. I'm hoping that we see some speed, hoping that we see accuracy. Okay. All right. Here we go. Good rune. Good rune. If it rolls in the flat defense, it will not be a good rune. But it's a 5-star flat HP rune, which is, it can only be flat HP for slot 5. Speed +5, which is not a minimum roll. right? If you look at the chart, speed for a 6-star rune could be 4 to 6. So we got right in the middle with +5. So if we get a triple roll, since it's a purple rune, if we get a triple roll into speed, it can roll +6. So we're looking at +11, +17, plus, I suck at math. 17 plus 6 is, was that 24? I could potentially, no, 23. Could roll at +23 speed. If it rolls triple crit rate, that would be usable. That's a high amount of crit rate that, on a Swift rune. So let's take a look. Let's see what it does. We'll do +3. We'll do +3. Come on, speed. Oh, baby. What kind of roll was that? It went from 5 to 11. +6. 6-star rune. That is a maximum roll for speed. That was freaking awesome. That was freaking awesome. Wow. Okay. Let's do it again. Let's power it up to +6. So if it rolls +6 again, we're looking at +17 speed, which would be phenomenal. It's going to roll flat defense, though, so don't get your hopes up. But that would be great. Oh, my goodness gracious! Oh! Holy cow! Holy cow! Wow! All right, we got to try. +9, right? This is the triple roll. After this to +12, it'll get a bonus property. Oh my gosh! That right there. That was a triple roll into speed. Basic, that was a +6, +6, and a +5. +6, +6, +5. Maximum, 5 is right in the middle. Holy frick, man. Holy frick. That is exactly what we needed to see. That right there can show you how good a double roll, or a quad roll can make a rune. Does a rune have to have speed on it? No, it does not. If that was crit damage, if we just triple rolled into crit damage, triple rolled into HP, then that's a really tanky rune potentially. Or if it rolled triple attack, that's a high damage rune. Triple crit rate, then that's a good crit rate rune. So the rune does not have to have speed on it. You need to broaden your thinking here. Runes, you're going to get a lot of monsters in this game. You're going to build up a ton of units, and you need runes to put on them, right? So if you pull the rune and you're like, man, if that rolls double or triple or potentially quad into a stat, that would be a really good rune. Keep the rune, power it up, see how it rolls, and then decide to keep or sell, right? Obviously, some runes are a no-brainer that you should sell it. If it's only got flat stats or they're all minimum roll stats, then it's a pretty easy sell. But if you're like, okay, if that rolls triple HP, triple crit damage, double speed, that might be a good rune. Keep it. Power it up, see how it rolls, and then decide to sell it later, right? Let's take a look at this other purple rune that we got here. Another great example. This rune, it's a 6-star rune with accuracy and crit damage. If it rolls triple accuracy, that's going to be a great rune. If it rolls triple crit damage, it's going to be a high crit damage rune. That's going to be great. It doesn't have speed on it, but that's okay. Another stat could get potentially really, really high, thus giving me a lot of value for that rune, putting it on a monster, boosting their accuracy or boosting their crit damage, and could really help out that unit. Speed is very, very, very important, right? Very important, but it's not everything, right? It's not everything. So if you get a blue rune and you get a double roll into speed, hey, that's a decently fast rune. Put that on a monster, boost up their speed, help your team, right? Here's the deal. You've got to look at what stage you are in the game. And you've got to know how fast your monsters are, what kind of rune quality you already have. And then when you pull a rune, think about it for a second. Be like, can I use this? Will it double roll into something, triple roll into something? Can I use it? And if you can, power it up, see how it rolls, and then decide to sell it if it doesn't roll how you want it to, right? So here's my recommendation. Keep an eye on this chart. Learn what the minimums and maximum stats are for your runes. If you pull the rune and it has, 3 speed on it, then you'll know that that's the minimum speed roll, right? If you pull a rune and it has 7 accuracy on it, then you'll know that's a really high accuracy roll on there, right? Study this chart and figure out, hey, what's a good stat? What can I keep? What should I sell? Like I said, some runes will be very easy to know when to sell it. If it has flat stats, if low rolls, you can sell that. Power it up. If you have a rune that's on the border, power it up, see if you get a double or triple roll, and then decide to keep or sell, right? So I think that's a good foundation for runes, right? I will make another rune video talking about broken sets, should you complete a swift set or blade set, fatal set, stats. In summary, I guess for that video, stats are more powerful than finishing a certain set of runes, right? Stats are more powerful. But this is the foundation rune video. Study this chart, minimums and maximums. Don't keep flat stats on slot 4 and slot 6, right? Just, take notes on this video if you need to. This is everything you need to know about the foundations of runes. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. That was I don't know if I can find that rune, but that was, look at that, plus 22 speed. Plus 22 speed. Triple roll into speed. Plus 6, and then plus 5. Freaking nuts. Guys, like and subscribe if you like this video. And I'll keep pumping out more and more guides as we go along. Thank you all so much. I appreciate your time and your attention, and I'll see you soon. All right.